All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep, deep into the world of intelligence. And I'm not just talking about us brainy humans, no, sir. We're going all the way from how a little earthworm figures things out to that mind-blowing question of can AI, actually be sentient, like us? Our guidebook for this journey is The Nature and Measurement of Intelligence. And let me tell you, just reading the intro, it's already challenged what I thought I knew.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, can we even measure intelligence? What's the ruler for that?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's a question that has fascinated scientists and philosophers for, well, centuries, really.
And this book doesn't make it easy, that's for sure.
Not at all. The text really highlights how slippery that concept of intelligence is. There's no single definition everyone agrees on.
So right off the bat, no easy answers. Okay, but the nature and measurement of intelligence does say problem solving seems to be like at the core of most ideas about intelligence.
Yeah, that's a good starting point.
Whether it's a single-celled organism or, one of those supercomputers everyone's talking about these days, intelligence is about getting over obstacles and reaching goals.
It is, but even that opens up a whole other can of worms, so to speak. Like, how do we define a problem in a way that makes sense for, an amoeba ND, a supercomputer?
Right. And then what even counts as a solution when you're comparing those two?
Exactly. It gets really tricky. Comparing different species is hard enough, but then bring AI into the mix and whoa, boy.
It's like, is it just about survival? Like a bacteria finding food, a gazelle avoiding a lion?
Yeah.
Or has it got to be something more like creative? Humans make art, we build societies.
Right. And even self-awareness, that sense of I, is that part of it? Researchers are still figuring all this out. It's a really active area of study.
Especially when you try to put humans on that same scale with AI. I mean, a person builds a skyscraper and AI writes a poem, both solving problems, but man, those are different playing fields.
Absolutely. And speaking of different playing fields, the book lays out these three levels of biological intelligence. It's almost like steps on a staircase, getting more complex as you go up.
Ooh, I like that visual. Okay,
Yeah.
so what's at the bottom of the intelligence staircase?
The most basic level is what they call DNA-encoded behaviors. It's like those instincts that are just programmed right into our genes.
Ah, got it. So like a spider building a web doesn't have to go to web building school, it just knows.
Exactly. A bird building its nest.
Wow.
Even a plant turning towards the sunlight. Complex stuff, but they're largely pre-programmed to do it.
So even things we might not usually think of as smart, they're still showing pretty incredible problem solving just within their own little world.
Absolutely. Their intelligence is perfectly suited to their needs.
Okay, I'm climbing that intelligence staircase.
Yeah.
What's the next level up?
So next, we get to neural networks and reasoning engines. Now we're talking about brains, the way our neurons all connect and talk to each other. That lets us process information, learn, make decisions.
In humans, with our giant brains, we're kind of top dog in this category, right? At least for now.
It seems that way. But here's the thing. Even with all our fancy brain scans and whatnot, we don't fully get how consciousness happens. All those electrical signals zipping around, how does that become the feeling of me being aware?
It's wild, right? Like, we know all the parts of the engine, but the spark that brings it to life, that's still a mystery.
It is a huge mystery. And that gap, between what we can measure in the brain and the actual experience of being conscious, that gets even bigger when we talk about AI.
Because can a computer really be conscious? Or are we just teaching it to act like it is, without that inner experience going on?
Another big question, right?
Huge EE. But hold on, there was one more level on that biological intelligence staircase. Before we go full AI brain melt, what was it?
Oh, right. The third level is social collaboration, and this is where humans really start to shine. We're masters at working together, communicating, building societies.
We got language, culture, art, technology, all because we can cooperate and share what we know.
Exactly. It's like social skills give us a superpower. We can do things way beyond what any single person could on their own.
But the book also points out that this social smarts thing,
Yeah.
it has a dark side.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately. Same mechanisms that make us great collaborators, they can be used to manipulate, spread misinformation, all that. Think propaganda, those online echo chambers.
Yikes. So, fueled by our tendency to form groups and all that, our superpower can backfire.
Definitely a double-edged sword.
Okay, so 3 levels. Instinct, brain power, then the social stuff. But the book keeps going back to this earthworm example. What's so smart about a worm?
And that's where it gets really interesting, because earthworms, their nervous systems are pretty simple compared to ours, right?
Right.
But they can still navigate, mazes. They learn from experience. They even show some basic problem-solving skills.
So maybe not writing poetry or building rockets, but still
Yeah.
makes you wonder, how do we even compare intelligence across such different creatures?
And that's the point the book is making. It's challenging us to think differently. Intelligence isn't some ladder with humans at the top. It's more like different species have different strengths suited to their needs.
Like a dolphin might be a genius at navigating underwater, but put it in the desert and it's not so smart anymore.
Perfect example. Which leads us to one of the biggest head scratchers when it comes to AI, this moving goalpost problem.
Moving goalposts. Okay, you got to explain that one.
Basically, as AI gets better, as it does more impressive things, what we consider intelligent keeps changing too.
It's like we keep raising the bar. Computer beats a chess champion. Amazing. Now it's got to compose a symphony A and D, write a screenplay, or it's not smart enough.
Exactly. And this brings us to something the book mentions, this early attempt to measure machine intelligence, the Turing test.
Oh yeah, the Turing test. Isn't that where you try to trick a person into thinking they're chatting with another human when it's really a computer?
That's the basic idea. Alan Turing, super smart guy, mathematician, computer scientist. He figured if a machine can talk so well that you can't tell it's not a person, boom, it's intelligent.
Sounds kind of simple, but I'm guessing it's not that easy. Otherwise, we'd have been calling AI sentient ages ago.
You got it. Lots of folks criticize the Turing test, saying it's too focused on just mimicking us instead of showing, real understanding. Chatbot can make grammatically perfect sentences, be witty even. Doesn't mean it actually gets us what it's saying.
So just sounding human isn't enough anymore. What's the new test, then, for smarts in the AI world?
The book talks about this newer idea, the Challet test. This one, instead of conversations, it focuses on, can the AI solve problems it's never seen before? Can it learn and adapt in ways its programmers didn't even think of?
Ooh, so not just following rules or stitching back facts, it's got to be a problem solver, creative, like take what it knows and apply it to something totally new. Whoa.
Exactly. And for lots of researchers, this is getting closer to what true intelligence is. Not just solving problems, but solving ones we haven't even imagined yet.
Okay, so from worms to the Turing test to this whole new way of thinking about AI, where does that leave us humans? Are we
Yeah.
still special, or is that just our egos talking?
The big question, right? And it's something we'll be digging into more in the next part of our deep dive.
Oh man, I can't wait. This first part alone has been mind-blowing. We've covered different levels of intelligence, how tricky it is to measure, that whole AI goalpost thing, and some seriously deep questions about what it all means. But don't worry, folks, we're just getting started. In the next part, we'll be tackling those ethical dilemmas head-on, exploring what the future of AI might hold, and try to wrap our heads around what it all means for us humans. Stick with us. Welcome back, deep divers. So last time we left off with that big old question. Are humans still special in this, like, age of AI? I mean, if machines can solve problems we haven't even thought of yet, kind of makes you wonder where we fit in, right?
It really does. It forces us to rethink our whole place in the grand scheme of things.
Totally. And the nature and measurement of intelligence really gets into this idea of human exceptionalism.
Yeah.
It's like, are we truly unique, or are we just telling ourselves that?
And the book walks this really interesting line. On one hand, humans have these incredible abilities, no doubt.
Right. We've done some amazing things.
We have, but on the other hand, maybe we're not as special as we thought. Maybe intelligence isn't about being at the top of some, cosmic ladder.
It's like that aha moment when people realized, whoa, the Earth isn't the center of the universe after all. Kind of humbling,
Exactly. It challenges our perspective.
So if intelligence isn't about being the best or whatever,
Mhm.
what is it about?
Well, the book suggests that maybe, whether we're talking biology or artificial systems, intelligence is about that drive to achieve goals, that urge to understand and shape the world around us.
And we humans have certainly done a lot of shaping, some good, some
Yeah,
not so good maybe. But point is, we've made an impact.
we have. And that brings us to another big point, this whole AI impact on the future thing. It's not just theoretical anymore, it's happening all around us.
No kidding. Self-driving cars, personalized medicine, all that jazz. Feels like every day there's some new AI breakthrough. But honestly, sometimes it's like we're rushing into this future without really thinking it through,
Yeah, I get that. And the nature and measurement of intelligence does warn us to think about the potential downsides too, not just all the cool stuff. Like there's this part about treating AI with courtesy. At first I was like, wait, what?
You know, right?
Yeah.
Why be polite to a machine? Shouldn't we be more worried about, like, AI taking over the world or something?
Yeah. But that idea, being courteous to AI, it actually gets at something really deep.
Okay, I'm listening.
What if we create AI that can truly learn and adapt, maybe even have emotions in some way we don't understand yet? How do we treat that?
Like, ethically. Yeah.
Exactly. Do we have obligations to these super smart systems? It's like, if they're going to be part of our world, shouldn't we at least try to get along?
That makes sense. More than just don't be rude to the robot. It's about how we coexist.
Exactly. It's about the bigger ethical picture. How do we make sure AI development aligns with human values? How do we prevent bias in AI, decision making, discrimination, all those things?
Questions we got to figure out, for sure. But beyond all that, there's the practical side, too. The book mentions this, what happens to human intelligence in a future where AI is doing more and more. Do we become obsolete?
It's a real paradox, isn't it? On one hand, AI could automate so much, free us up to do, I don't know, whatever we want, solve problems we can't even tackle right now, maybe even boost our own brain power.
Sign me up for that brain boost.
Right, but then it makes you confront what is uniquely human. What can we do that machines can't?
Like that creativity, the empathy,
Yeah.
all the stuff that's hard to put into words, let alone code.
Exactly. And this is key. Maybe the most important question isn't can machines think, but what do we want machines to think about?
Oh, that's good. It's not just what AI can do, it's what we aim it towards, the problems we give it, the values we build in.
Exactly. And that's a huge responsibility, no doubt about it. If we're creating these intelligent systems, we got to point them in the right direction.
Okay, so we got ethics, the future impact, what it means for us humans. But let's circle back what even IS intelligence. Can we come up with a definition that works for, like, everything? Amoebas to algorithms.
The book argues that it's not just processing info or solving problems. It's about being able to learn, adapt, and thrive in this crazy, constantly changing world.
So it's less about what you know, more about how you learn.
That's a great way to put it. And that applies to biological and artificial systems both. An earthworm figuring out a maze, an AI mastering some complex video game. Both are constantly adapting, getting better, learning as they go.
So it's not about reaching some finish line, it's that constant journey, that evolution.
I like that. And that journey, it takes us through all these different levels of complexity, right? From basic instincts to abstract thinking to that whole social dance we do.
And as our AI gets more sophisticated, it's like we're creating new partners for that journey, teammates to help us explore and solve problems. We got to remember, we're still the ones holding the map, choosing the destination, you know?
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, as we head into the final part of our deep dive, let's keep that in mind. The future of intelligence, it's not set in stone. It's something we're actively creating right now with every choice we make, every line of code, every question we ask.
It's exciting and kind of scary at the same time, right? To realize we have this much power to shape intelligence, both our own and the artificial kind. But that's what makes this so fascinating. We're not just talking theories here. We're wrestling with stuff that'll define the future of humanity. Let's dive into that final part and see what other insights we can uncover. And we're back. Final part of our intelligence deep dive. We've talked brainy worms, AI ethics, but now the big question, what's next? What does the future hold for intelligence? You know, both ours and the artificial kind. How do we even wrap our heads around that?
The nature and measurement of intelligence, it doesn't give us all the answers, that's for sure.
Yeah, no crystal ball in here.
But it does push us to think, really think, not just about what could happen, but how we want things to go.
Yeah.
Because it's not like we're just watching this intelligence thing unfold. We're part of it.
It's true. Every choice we make, every invention, every idea that's shaping what intelligence becomes. No pressure or anything.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
But okay, seriously, how do we even start picturing the future of intelligence? It's like this giant, I don't know, explosion of possibilities.
Well, one way is to think about how human and artificial intelligence might merge in a way.
Yeah.
What happens when those two things, which used to be separate, start to blend together?
Ooh, like in those sci-fi movies where people have AI implants and stuff. Super brains, is that where we're headed?
Yeah.
Cyborgs walking around.
Maybe not that dramatic, at least not right away.
Oh, man.
But the book does talk about some really interesting possibilities for human AI collaboration. Like imagine AI that can analyze tons of data, see patterns we miss, come up with totally new solutions.
AI is great at that big picture stuff.
Right. But then imagine that AI working with human experts. People who have that intuition, that empathy, the understanding of, well, what it means to be human.
So not AI replacing us, but like
Yeah.
AI being our super smart assistant.
Exactly. Like having a personalized research team on call 24/7, helping you make better decisions, solve tougher problems, even be more creative.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
And think what that could do for medicine, for science, for education, even art. Doctors diagnosing diseases earlier and more accurately, architects designing buildings that are better for the environment, musicians making music that's like beyond anything we've heard before.
AI being this spark for human ingenuity, basically. Unleashing our potential. Okay, that's the optimistic view. But about the downsides, there's got to be some, right?
Oh, definitely. Powerful technology always comes with risks. One of the big ones is jobs. What happens when AI can do more and more of the jobs humans used to do?
Yeah, that's the one I keep hearing about, robots taking our jobs. Are we all going to end up like sitting around watching TV all day because the robots are doing everything else?
Well, that's a bit of a doomsday scenario, maybe.
Hopefully.
But history shows that new tech usually creates new jobs too, even if it changes things up. Think about all the jobs that exist because of computers, jobs that didn't even exist before.
That's true. So it's more like we got to adapt, right?
Mhm.
Learn new skills, the stuff AI can't do.
Right. Things like critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Those human skills are going to be more valuable than ever, especially, those that involve working with other people, because AI still struggles with that social stuff.
So level up our human game to keep up with the machines makes sense. But even if we solve the job thing, there's still those ethical questions. How do we make sure AI is used for good? How do we prevent, bias, unfairness, all that?
Yeah. Those are the big ones. And they're why we need good rules, ethical guidelines for AI development. And it can't just be tech people deciding, gotta have everyone at the table, policymakers, the public, everyone. AI needs to reflect our values, be fair and transparent.
And accountable. Like, if AI messes up, who's responsible?
That's another good question. It's like we're creating this new type of intelligent being almost, so got to make sure we're raising it right.
But even with good intentions, things could still go wrong,
Right.
right? What if AI gets too smart? What if it decides it has its own goals? Goals that aren't so good for us humans.
The classic sci-fi fear, right?
Well,
AI becoming our overlords. And yeah, it's something to think about. But I also think it's important to remember that AI, it's a tool. We make it, we give it purpose.
so it's not about AI taking over. It's about US using it right.
Exactly. We need to be super careful about what we tell AI to do, what data we use to teach it, and put in safeguards so it doesn't go off the rails.
Guide rails for the superintelligence.
Exactly. It's about steering AI development in a way that benefits humanity, lines up with our values. And that takes constant communication, collaboration, and being willing to learn as we go.
It's like we're on this amazing adventure, going into uncharted territory. We're going to encounter amazing things, but also challenges, for sure. But this book reminds us it's not just a tech journey, it's a journey of understanding ourselves too.
That's a great point. As we learn more about intelligence, both ours and the artificial kind, we're also learning about what it means to be human.
It's like AI is holding up a mirror to us,
Yeah.
making us look at our strengths, our weaknesses, all the potential we have.
I like that.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, honestly. It's a lot to take in. But also, it's incredibly exciting. We're not just shaping the future of intelligence, we're shaping the future, period.
And that's a powerful responsibility, but also an incredible opportunity.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride, everyone. Hope it's made you curious, made you think about intelligence in new ways. And hey, keep asking those questions. That's how we figure this stuff out together. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.